Hello, I just finished a 5-mile training run in preparation for my half marathon on October 27th. So some things that I thought about in the podcast that I listened to, the Not Your Average Runner by Jill Angie, she talks a lot about the 80-20 rule, where it's not really a rule, but she talks about it's 80% mental and 20% training your body. And I really like that because I think about that a lot with childbirth and running. I've been thinking about that for many years. Actually, I've used the 90-10 ratio instead. It came from one of my favorite flutists, Jim Walker. He has a quote about film music because he spent many years performing in orchestras to a lot of film soundtracks. But anyway, he says that playing in a studio orchestra like that is 90% boredom and 10% sheer terror. And I always thought that was funny. And I applied that a lot to other things like running. You know, it's 90% mental and 10% in your body. And then I think about that with childbirth too. Like, a lot of what I'm doing right now, training for this half marathon, is actually mental endurance and mental training. I'm pretty sure my body can do it. Yes, I do need to prepare my body, but what will give out on me before my body is my brain. My brain wants to give up. My brain wants to do the easy thing. My brain doesn't want to move. And so during some of my training run today, I was thinking about that. I'm kind of going backwards with what I was thinking about on my training run, but towards the end, all my body wanted to do was quit. I just wanted to quit. I just wanted to stop. I wanted to sit down. I wanted to take a break. But when I start going 4, 5, or more miles, stopping becomes really uncomfortable. So I've tried it. Believe me, it's more comfortable to keep going and then to gradually stop. So I can't suddenly stop. I have to walk. And I've even tried cutting my cool down walk short. And I've tried stopping that too. And sitting down when you haven't properly cooled down yet is really uncomfortable. It's actually more uncomfortable than just moving and keeping moving. So that kind of reminded me of labor. Like, when you're really in labor, it's more uncomfortable to just sit there. It's more uncomfortable to lay there. Like, you need to keep moving because as uncomfortable as it is, labor is just an uncomfortable thing. Moving is going to be a lot better than staying still. So I thought about that during my run today. But one of the big things that I thought about after listening to a podcast this morning was fear during hard things. And a lot of time it's the fear that you have to overcome more than the actual event itself. Like, I was more afraid of what it would feel like to run 5 miles. I was more afraid of whether or not I'd be able to do it. I was more afraid of quitting. Like, it was harder to overcome that than to actually do it, to actually do the run. So I had to spend more time overcoming my brain. So I talk about fear a lot with clients preparing for labor. We talk about it in birth boot camp classes. We talk about how fear makes your muscles tense up, and tense muscles hurt more. We talk about ways that we can try to overcome fear. But one of the interesting things that I've noticed as a doula is fear, like, that is what makes labor so much harder for a lot of people, is that they're afraid of it. And especially before I get there. So just recently, the same thing happened again. Sometimes I joke that I bring contractions with me, but somehow their ability to cope with the contractions becomes easier. I even had a client say to me, I don't know if, and she was on Pitocin, and it was like, I don't know if I'm just getting better at this, or if it's just getting easier, or if it's not working anymore, because it's gotten easier since you got here. And I'm like, it's just the fear. I think the fear dissipated. Having someone with you, having those wise eyes, having that constant companionship and encouragement, just having that reassurance that if you hit a snag, or if you just get stuck, or you get afraid, or you feel something that isn't quite right, you have someone there who has your back, like always. That's what a doula is for. We're there for you no matter what kind of snag you might hit on your journey, or whether sometimes you don't even need us there, except to give you that confidence that if you need us, we're there. A lot of times that's just the amount of confidence that someone needs to have a happy birth. So there are different ways to overcome fear. I don't think it's realistic to think that you're going to be completely fearless in everything that you do, but plan for, if I become afraid, I can do this. I know that I might become afraid during this event. I know I'll be afraid during this run or during labor, so I'm gonna hire a doula for if I'm afraid, or I'm gonna listen to this podcast, or I'm gonna recruit a friend to sign up with me to keep me motivated during that run, or whatever you need. But I just marvel at how much our brains control us. Like we can do a lot more than we think we can if we can just get our brains on board with it, and to kind of train our brain to do the things that we're trying to do, because the brain doesn't want to do anything. The brain wants to find the easy way out. In all situations, that's what the brain wants to do. So we have to tell our brain, no, we're going to do this hard thing, and you be quiet about it, because I'm doing this. All right, until next time, y'all have a great weekend. Bye.